Let us begin with the opposition's reaction on the security bill. The opposition is already voicing their displeasure with the Security Laws Amendment Bill 2014, saying that the proposals to control media coverage of security-related stories and to jail journalists for such coverage would take Kenya back to the dark days. Here's now Senate Majority Leader Moses Wetangula and his colleagues speaking this morning at Parliament buildings.
The bill, on the face of it, is actually seeking to derogate bills of rights that are guaranteed in the new constitution that were fought for so relentlessly by Kenyans, including losses of lives, detaining of people, maiming of people, and so on and so forth. Kenyans went into exile while fighting for space.
If you look at this bill, it is not only changing or seeking to change our way of life, but is also trying to erode the space, the democratic space established and donated by the Constitution.
Elsewhere, the family of a 44-year-old victim of the Mandera attacks from Murang'a County got a surprise relief after President Uhuru Kenyatta paid his hospital bills at Kenyatta National Hospital. Roland Kang'ethe, a businessman in Wajir town, had been admitted in the intensive care unit at the Kenyatta National Hospital, where he was shot in Mandera while heading home from work. After he was discharged, the father of 5 was held by the hospital since he could not pay the accrued bill of 115,000 shillings. An elated Kang'ethe expressed his gratitude to the president for coming to his aid.
Sikia sauti ya risasi ikapenya hapa kwa singo. Sasa mimi kitabu nitoroke, sikia zikafuata mimi nyuma. Ndio mimi nilianguka. Kuanguka kafuatilia mimi tu na risasi. Ngine kapiga mimi bafu. Mimi nikakuwa sikujiweza kuamuka. Mkono yangu ilikuwa imefujika. Sasa hapo mimi nikapoteza fahamu.
A lucky man there, Kang'ethe is. Now, elsewhere, the National Transport and Safety Authority has called on drivers and road users to observe traffic rules and regulations to avoid accidents during this festive season. Speaking in Nakuru during the launch of the free clinic for speed governors, Director of Road Safety Matthew Munyao said that NTSA is checking on public service vehicles and on commercial vehicles to ensure they have functioning speed governors. NTSA will also check if speed governors have been tampered with or not.
We do expect that over this Christmas, we'll expect more travels. Last year, we lost 304 persons over December alone. We want to ensure that this year we do not lose more than 200 people. And therefore, we have put countrywide 20 teams to support, to work alongside the Kenya police teams that are all over the country to secure all the major highways and towns. We'll also be undertaking strong campaigns of drink driving checks to ensure that people do not overindulge over this Christmas.
From matters road safety, we cross over to Nyeri, where our reporter Carol Nderi is joining us by way on phone. We understand that 15 people of those who died during the Mandera terror attack are being buried today. Nderi, if you can hear me, just bring us up to speed on what is happening, what has been happening since morning.
Thank you, Ian. Yes, there is a requiem mass ongoing right now. It has been a sad day and still is a sad day in Nyeri as the county prepares to bury It's 14 sons who among the 36 who perished in Mandera in the hands of Al-Shabaab militia. One other person, that is the 15th person, will be transported to Laikipia County for the burial. Now, Ian, as I said, there is an ongoing interdenominational requiem mass that is happening now at the Nyeri Dead and Kimathi Kamukunji grounds in Nyeri town, where friends and family and the county leadership have gathered to bid farewell to the 15, and after the service, families will then transport their loved ones to their homes for the burial. Early in the morning, there was a heavy traffic jam in Nyeri town. That is unusual, but there was a heavy traffic jam in Nyeri town as families arrived at the Nyeri Provincial General Hospital mortuary for viewing and collection of the 15 bodies, and emotions ran quite high at the mortuary in the morning. Ian?
Maybe Nderi, since you've mentioned that we have county government officials there, what kind of messages are we getting from the government and also from families of the victims?
Yes, Ian. First of all, in attendance, if I could start with those who so far have arrived at the Dead and Kimathi Kamukunji grounds for the interdenominational requiem service, we have the Nyeri Governor Nderito Gachagua, and also the Nyeri Women Representative, that is Madam Priscilla Nyokabi. We have the Nyeri Town MP Esther Murugi, and the Kieni Member of Parliament Tanini Kega, remembering that most of these victims were from Kieni in Kraka area, particularly where they used to work as quarry workers before going to do the same job in Mandera County. The Cabinet Secretary in charge of Engineer Michael Kamau is also in attendance, as well as the Samburu Women Representative Mason Leshomo, and yes, the service is interdenominational, but the one officiating the service is Catholic Archbishop Peter Cairo. We also have Muslim leaders in attendance, led by Uledi Majid, who is one of the prominent Muslim leaders in Nyeri County, who have joined the rest to show solidarity. And of course, the messages that are coming out strongly is that there is need to curb insecurity, saying that Kenyans cannot continue to lose lives to the hands of the ragtag militia, the Al-Shabaab militia. So messages coming out very strongly that the security organs need to up their game and, of course, end this. Ian?
Thank you very much. That is Karen Derry joining us from Nyeri. Let us just have a look at the pictures that is happening during this burial in Mandera. Very somber mood right there. We do hope that we wish them that they rest in peace. Now, still on matters of security, the chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Security, Asman Kamama, has said that the controversial security amendment bill is crucial if Kenya is to fix the gaping holes in the war on terror and insecurity in general.
Bill intends to amend over 30 acts that are related to security. And one of the acts is the Public Order Act, Penal Code, the Extradition Act, CAP 76, Criminal Procedure Code, the Registration of Persons Act, the Evidence Act, the Prisons Act, the Firearms Act. And as you know, these are strange times, eh? So we need to make hard decisions so that we can actually have the best security in this country. Because even the freedoms we talk about, you cannot enjoy them, in the absence of security. You can't enjoy them. So let's fix the security first. I think that is a priority at the moment. And as you know, when Americans faced this problem during the 9/11, they came up with radical reforms. That is the direction we need to take so that we can save this country from terrorist threats.
Elsewhere, key perpetrators of torture on hawkers and small-scale traders are the city askaris, while members of the National Police Service who back them up during their operations lead in shootings. This is according to a survey carried out by the Independent Medical Legal Unit on mistreatment of hawkers and small-scale traders in Nairobi City County.
As human rights organizations, we have said two things. One, deal with corruption in the National Police Service. Unless you do that, you are not going to get this right. Number two, and we have kept emphasizing, finalize the process of reforming the security sector.
The face of human rights in Kenya, human rights violations in Kenya is changing. The people who are currently violated are not visible. The stories of abuses and human rights violations are no longer sexy, are no longer things that the media is interested in, are no longer things that are captured on a day-to-day basis.
Now, let's just go a bit into our top story today. And the newly tabled Security Laws Amendment Bill, which has taken the country by storm, is the subject of public hearings at Nairobi's County Hall this afternoon. KTN's Aaron Ochieng now joins us from way of phone from this County Hall where the hearings are taking place. Aaron, what do we expect from there? And also, if you could just tell us a bit about this bill.
Ian, what I have is a 30 proposals by the government, which was first read in Parliament yesterday by the leader of Majority, Aden Duale. It is a government-sponsored bill that is known as the Security Laws Amendment Bill 2014, otherwise known as the Salama Bill, which has far-reaching reforms in the security sector. Around 30 acts relating to security will be rectified, ranging from traffic acts, registration of persons, to labor law, into civil aviation, and even criminal procedures. Those are the measures that the leader of Majority, Aden Duale, read yesterday in floor of Parliament. And today, the public was supposed to go through the bill and put in their what they think of the bill and if there are areas that they need clarification. But that exercise was postponed due to lack of quorum, and it will later be held this afternoon starting at 2:30. But later on, I don't know if this one has been relayed, but already facing opposition from the Senate opposition led by the minority leader, Moses Etangwa, saying this bill is draconian and it is actually infringing on the human rights of the citizens of this country. So later on in the afternoon, the public will have their part to play in this particular bill before it's taken back to Parliament for the second reading and then for debate. And if ratified, it will be passed into law. And these certain measures that the government is proposing will become into law. Ian.
Maybe if you've talked to members of the public who have also showed up for this meeting, are there any other concerns being raised in regards to this bill?
I think members of public have been taken by storm because most of them who showed up at the county hall had not even read the bill. They were seeing it for the first time. And actually it would have put them in an awkward position if they were to be questioned or if they were to put any input into this particular bill. So I think the ones who showed up this morning are actually going through the bill, and maybe in the afternoon is when they will have contributions, a viable contribution to put into this particular bill. But as of now, with the members of the public I spoke to were saying they had nothing to, they had no clue of what is contained in the bill, then making it very impossible for them to have any input in the discussion. Ian.
Thank you very much. That is Aaron Ochieng joining us on phone from the County Hall in regards to the newly tabled Security Amendment Bill, which has taken the country by storm. We shall continue to update you on that. Now, let's just go into business. Despite the slowdown in key sectors brought about by the rising cases of insecurity in the country, the government expects the economy to grow at 6.1% growth in the next year, ending June, and next year, 7% in 2015. Treasury is banking on infrastructure investments, among them the standard gauge railway and the Lapsset corridor, and a stable macroeconomic environment.
Last year we did 5.7 based on the revised GDP numbers, and this year's slight slowdown was just because of the challenges we had on the tourism sector, but we see going forward recovery in view of our investment in infrastructure, which should contribute to higher GDP growth. So we are looking at house heating next year around 6.5% and to about 7% by 2017. And then from there, we will, of course, with the continued infrastructure spending, we should be moving towards the double-digit level.
And still on economic matters, the Treasury expects to receive the first tranche of cash from China for the construction of the standard gauge railway this week as the government accelerates implementation of the 327 billion flagship project. The Chinese government had pleaded a loan of 213 billion shillings for construction of the railway, with the balance set to be funded by the Kenyan government through the 1.5% railway development levy on imported goods introduced in June last year. As at the end of September, the Treasury had collected 19.7 billion shillings against a target of 20.2 billion shillings. Construction on works for the railway from Mombasa to Nairobi has already begun, with the government saying it will generate 30,000 jobs for locals and 5,000 jobs for Chinese expatriates. Over the last 6 years, Islamic finance has grown from an idea to a full-blown phenomenon which has evolved from just banking to insurance, investments and pensions, and transversed even to the conventional banking sector, with major commercial banks adopting Islamic windows to tap into this growing segment. Even the government is planning to tap the $2 trillion global Islamic financial industry through the Sukuk bond. As such, the Capital Markets and Authority wants to prepare the domestic financial markets to leverage on the opportunities that will arise by providing a wider diversity of products to attract local, regional and global funds. CMA has convened an Islamic finance strategic roundtable as it seeks to prioritize the development of Kenya as a center of excellence in Islamic finance.
Technical assistance in the regulators Ministry of Finance to the settlement by providing the necessary in order to provide services.
Sharia-based financing, really trying to build first and foremost awareness as to what the potential of the sector is, as well as working with the key policymakers as well as regulators to put in place an appropriate regulatory framework that's really going to stimulate and unlock the potential of Sharia-based financing in the country.
Kenya stands to benefit is from a $2 trillion industry globally, and is growing at a 15 to 20% rate annually. This is not something that we can ignore, and we need to find a way to be able to be part of this conversation.
From an implementation point of view, is to have the legal and regulatory framework in place, which provides market players and new entrants and existing players comfort and clarity in terms of how they're going to be licensed, how they're going to be regulated, how in the event of a dispute is that mediation going to take place, and how the market overall is going to create a level playing field vis-a-vis other players, conventional players.
That story by Moses Wahisi brings us to a close this afternoon, but do join us in our subsequent bulletin. For now, however, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Ian Wafula.